look at your whole life timeline and say, like, this is a moment in my life, and move forward, and let's leave it behind you and keep going. And the next time you're faced with that, it won't be that big of a deal. And then so many more opportunities will come because you're not scared.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Radically Loved Radio. I wanted to create a place where people can go to get inspired, get motivated, or find some clarity and get tools to create a radically loved life. I will do my best to provide information on a variety of subjects, including yoga, holistic health, life coaching, spirituality, meditation, and overall mindful living. Each episode will bring you some of the world's best spiritual leaders, entrepreneurs, yoga teachers, coaches, along with some of my closest friends, and we will talk about their life experiences and journeys to create something more out of their lives and how they continue to grow to make that happen. Thanks for listening. Hey everybody, welcome back to Radically Loved. I'm joined by a very special guest. Bricia Lopez is an entrepreneur. She's a best-selling author. She's a restaurant. Can I say restaurateur? Is that a thing?
Yeah, restaurant owner.
Yeah.
I have a restaurant. I own a restaurant. Totally. I'm a restaurateur.
A restaurateur is like somebody that owns many, or are you a restaurateur?
I mean, I definitely have. I'm a restaurant owner, I guess. Then I do not have multiple restaurants. No, thank you. I'm good. Not about that life. Shout out to those who are, though.
Yeah. So I mean, I was first of all a fan of your book. You created this beautifully shot and elaborate and incredible recipes cookbook.
Yes.
And I think I saw you speak somewhere, and I think it was Summit. Was it did you speak at Summit?
I did. LA, Summit LA.
Yeah, maybe that's where I saw you for the first time. But anyway, then I started following you, and then I was just I was so inspired by your story and your dedication to your craft and what you do and your commitment to uplifting not only your own business, but the people that work for you. And we interviewed you for the Wise podcast, but unfortunately we had some technical difficulties and it didn't actually come out.
That feels like another life. I don't even remember.
I know. That was, and I feel like it was just last year, but I'm like, no, last year was 2020. So it had to have been the year before, I guess. Mm-hmm. Was it 2 years ago?
I think it was definitely about 2 years ago. I don't even remember if my book had been launched, but it doesn't matter. We're here now.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yes, of course. So one of the things that I wanted to start off with was, lately when I've been talking to any of my peers that I know, I'm always curious about how they handled the pandemic last year. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of like the brief, like our entry to the conversation. I'm curious to know like what that was like for you.
Oh, man. Well, I was 20 weeks pregnant in March. So for me, it was a very specific experience that I had because I was carrying my baby through the entire thing. And I gave birth to her in July of 2020. And I think for me, what that did was ground me and was it was an experience that I think I think it was almost unfair because I had this baby, this life growing inside of me. It put so many things in perspective. And I realized that at the end of the day, no matter what happened, it was about taking care of me for my child. And I had a 5-year-old. So he turned 5 on March 25. So we had a quarantine birthday and then it became about, how do I take care of my son? And then it turned into like, my mind was just cluttered and overwhelmed with trying to be a mom and, well, not trying, but being a mom and trying to keep my son busy, entertained with art. And I went through like an arts and crafts period. And then I have to do arts and crafts, but then I have to take care of my business, but then I can't go into my restaurant because I'm pregnant. And like, conversations with my husband on, you cannot really, because this is, again, early on, no one even knew what was happening, how it can be transmitted. I'm pregnant, and I was to be home and not leave my house at all because of the risk, because it's not just me, it's this child that's growing inside of me. Right. And then, so I guess being sort of high risk just gave me the permission to just be home and lean on my team to really just be there in my restaurant. I have my brother, who was, I think, the MVP of quarantine, who really was out really in the front lines every single day. Thankfully, I don't run the businesses by myself. I have my siblings with me. And then my sister has 3 daughters. So she was sort of in the same position as me. So really my brother was the one who stepped up and would go to work every single day. But then working from home, right, and trying to navigate that. Yeah. And then she was born in July, my daughter, who gave me an entire new perception of life. Giving birth to a female was a completely different experience than giving birth to a male. She just filled me with just so much love. Like, it's really... It was a completely different experience, and something that I had no idea would happen. Of like, I knew that giving birth, obviously I've given birth before, and my son changed my life forever. And I knew that but I had already gone through that, morphosis or whatever you want to do, from like not being a mom to being a mom. Metamorphosis. Yeah. So I just thought, okay, I'm going to have another baby and it's going to be great. I'm already a mom, but I think, I don't know if it was, I don't know if it's like every mom has this experience with the second baby. I had it. I thought it was because it was a female. And she just came out and just like immediately filled me with this energy of, oh my gosh, I need to become even a better woman to be taking care of this other woman. Like, I need to deal with, I just need to become a better woman. Like, I need to become even a better version of me for her. She changed, like, I dropped a lot of bad habits. I just, just kind of started seeing myself in a different lens. And then she just filled me with so much joy. I mean, because no one could come around, because I couldn't go anywhere. I wasn't, home feeling like trapped. I felt at home, like, chill and really enjoying my time with my baby. I mean, for the first, I think, 5 months of her life, it was just me and her at home in her room. And I really took care of my body the first, 40 days, the 4th trimester, as they call it sometimes, and I'm Latina. So like, if you're Mexican, specifically from Oaxaca, like where I'm from, those first 40 days after you give birth, they are beyond sacred. I mean, women are not even allowed to lift like anything, a cup. I mean, I didn't go up. I have a 2-story home. I didn't even go up the stairs for, I don't know, a month, I think, for like 3 weeks. I really like took it to the extreme because I just thought, I remember how my body was after my first and how I would try to go. And I saw what it did. I saw the after effects of that 3 years later. And that's that's things that women don't talk about. Like, if you don't take care of your body after a baby, 3 years later, you'll understand, like, oh crap, I should have, Mm-hmm. So with her, like, I really took care of my body the first 6 weeks, the first 40 days. I mean, I didn't have a glass of cold water for 6 weeks after, like, crazy stuff. Like, I went above and beyond.
How was it? Like, how was it for you to be, because in my mind, when I think of somebody who's an entrepreneur, somebody who's on the go, and from what I know from you, you are like, you're a go-getter. I mean, you are like, your work ethic is unparalleled. You really know what you want, and you're dedicated and you're committed to doing it. How are you able, was it because of the lockdown? Do you think it was easier for you? Like, how are you able
100%.
to go, you know what I'm saying?
100%. That's why I think for me, it's kind of a little unfair, because I think, like, because I was pregnant and I gave birth, it just allowed me to focus on my child. And like, that's what I was doing. Yeah. I need to make sure that I take care of this baby, and all my focus went to her. And I didn't care what was going on in the world. I didn't care about anything. I only cared about my baby. And I think, you know, when I had my son the first time, I just couldn't, like, I remember I just wanted to go back to work so bad. I just couldn't stand still. I was trying to do a million things, and I just wanted to go, go, go. And I think a lot of women can relate to that feeling. But with her, it was different. I think because I was already on lockdown since, you know, through my pregnancy, it was easier for me to just like slow down. And I think for all of us was easier to slow down. Right. And she was just full of joy. She's just pure light. She's just so happy and beautiful and just joyful. And there was nothing that could really pierce that feeling from her home. You know, there was nothing. I would hold her, and, you know, I would open my phone and I would look at the news, but then I would look at her and I just thought, but I have her.
Yeah. How has that changed you now that the world has opened up? It's been over a year. It'll be a year, right?
She is turning 1 year and a week and a half.
Yeah. So she's going to be a year. How has that changed now that you've gone back? Well, I'm going to say air quotes back to normal.
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely I am back to the grind 100%. I thankfully have a lot of help around me. I have someone that helps me take care of her and stays with her at home full time when I'm at work. My husband's at work. My son, my 6-year-old is in summer camp. So, you know, he goes to camp all day, Monday through Friday. I'm at work. And I feel at peace. I mean, I feel great. I love what I do. I'm very blessed to do what I love. And I don't feel guilty leaving her behind because I got to spend so much time with her one-on-one. And I feel that bond we created is just so deep that she just, she obviously can't talk to me, but I feel like she's like, bye, Mom, I'll see you later. I just feel like we have a deeper connection. And I think that with my first, I always felt guilty leaving him because I think that's because I wasn't really with him the first few weeks. Right. Even though I was with him, my mind was somewhere else. But because with her, I was with her 100%. My mind, my body, my soul was with her. Now that I physically leave, I don't feel guilty about, being like, bye, girl, see you later. But it's, but now, it's just insanity. I think every business owner can relate to just everything is just insanity. It's, the roaring 20s, 100%. It's crazy.
Yes. People
are going out, people are traveling, people are consuming, people are making it rain. And we're here for it. I'm still understaffed at the restaurant, but we are, I don't think we've had a stronger team before. I think our team is incredible. We've never put out better food than we are right now. Yeah. We've never put out better service.
Tell the audience where your restaurant is and what it's called. And
so ilovemole.com is all you. So ilovemole.com is our site. Easy to remember. We are in Los Angeles. We're in Koreatown, and we specialize in Oaxacan cooking. The name of the restaurant is Guelaguetza. And I remember when our website was guelaguetzarestaurant.com, which was the worst website to have. And now it's ilovemole.com, which is really easy to remember. And yeah, that's where you can make reservations and you can show. We also come, we most of the customers we serve are walk-ins, people who just come in without reservations. But yeah, it's been so much fun. It was really insane for about 3 months. I feel like I was running a marathon. And I would look at my brother and I would say, I cannot believe this was your life for a whole year, just because he's always been here,
Yeah.
And after 3 months, I was just like, I remember like my husband looked at me and he was like, wow. I'm like, I know. I mean, it was leaving my house every day at like 8:30 and coming home at 10 p.m., 11 p.m.,
That is, and I love that you work with your family. What's that like for you? I mean, I know the history behind why and the sort of journey that you've taken, that you're taken to create this business. But yeah, what's that like for you working with siblings?
Oh, I love working with my family. My brother, my sister, our youngest sister, she works at Spotify, so she's not in the family business, but we hang out all the time. But working with my sister and my brother, it's wonderful. It's running a business with your best friends, and it's beautiful. And we're building together something that will last, a lifetime for the next generation and for the next generation, and just, being smarter than our parents were financially, and, building that generational wealth that I think communities feel like other communities normalize it, and we haven't in our community of,
why do you
in
think
our
that
Mexican
is?
community,
Mm-hmm.
because we never had it, girl.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like, I think that's, when people say generational wealth, I'm like, what does that mean? I don't even know.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I
think
mean?
when people say generational wealth, it seems like it sounds so fancy. Like,
Yeah.
ooh, like what? Are you greedy? Like, what are you trying to do?
Yeah.
But then for me, generational wealth is being able to be in control of your time, right? And allowing to put, and when you're in control of your time, your mind is able to expand itself, be more creative, and be at peace, live longer, just all these things that, less stress on your body physically, less stress on your body mentally, and for you to really enjoy those times and be more present. So for me, that's really what generational wealth means, having more control of your time, without the stress of other things. And that's where and allowing my children to go and explore, allowing my children to fail, allow my children to do the things they love without me being like, but you have to do this to, make money. Like, I make money, or you have to do this because that's the way it is. And, living with that stress and that, money trauma that we all grew up
The
with.
lack mentality.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I can absolutely 100% relate to that. And it sort of takes that unlearning a little bit to get to a place where
100%. Absolutely. Yes.
you have to be open to receiving, and you have the opportunity to dream big and to, I think that in my experience anyway, with both my parents that came from Mexico, both of my parents as immigrants came with the belief, just be grateful for whatever you get.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The bar was set very, very low. So
Yeah.
even having a little bit, was like, be grateful.
Right.
Be
Right.
grateful that you have warm water.
Exactly.
Be grateful that you have hot water every day. Like,
Yeah.
that was the part.
Yeah. Or flushing toilets.
Yeah. That was the bar for them. It's like, what do you mean? Like, you have a toilet and you have hot running water. What else do you want?
Yeah. I remember when I told my dad, I was like, I think I want to go to college. He's like, what? He's like, don't you want to just get a job and be happy? And I'm like, well, I want to learn more. And he's like, he was always really supportive, but he just didn't understand. He's like, yeah, but it costs money. You need to get a job. You know what I mean? It was sort of that mentality of, you need to establish security first, and security, once you had it, you had to hold on to it, right? So anything outside of the security, out of the foundation, any sort of chance that you can take is going to threaten your sense of security, and so that's not a good thing to try and do, so I think it's been really, it's been such a beautiful thing to see, even some of my peers, people like you, where you see the transformation and we're making a difference. I also have a business, and to be able to grow it and to thrive and to be able to take chances, it's now for the next generation. Like, your kids are going to grow up knowing that and having those values and having those beliefs and feeling like they can do anything. Right.
Oh, for sure. And just graduating, I always saw it like mentally graduating to another state of mind. And I think that, you go through like mental high school and then mental college until you get to that place where you open doors to new dimensions of financial knowledge that you never even knew existed. And you understand, like, oh, this is the way people do it. Why didn't everyone tell me this earlier? So I think for me, that's kind of where I am. And understanding that you have to keep learning things. No matter how old you are, you still have to go on good old YouTube and look at, videos and learn things. And I think a lot of people think, well, I'm too old to learn. And I think that is absolutely not true. I think that no one's too old to learn anything. I mean, no matter how old you are today, you could be 10, you could be 60. you can build anything you want with knowledge from the internet today. And I think that people just need to understand that time is just such a, the definition of like how old you are doesn't really define you in any sort of way. And I think a lot of people, because our parents defined us by how old we were, I think like growing up, like my brother tells me this all the time. My dad's dad died when he was, I think, 50. So I think my dad thought 50 was it. Like, that's it. Like at 50, that's old, right? So it's such a rush to do things, in such a rush because you have 50 years.
Yeah.
When in reality, I want to live until I'm at least 120.
At least,
and I'm gonna look good. Like I'm gonna be a good looking 120-year-old. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of where my mind is at. So like there's so much time. There's so much time.
Yeah. What do you think the biggest lesson you learned about being able to do anything you want? When did that happen? And how did you learn that? How did you learn that taking chances was something that you could do?
Well, when my parents retired, I didn't realize how big of a hold my parents had on my life, how much they dictated what I did, how much I really craved to, just to follow their order. The way I was raised, I think, was very tall. I don't know, with a dictatorship, right? Iron fist. Like,
yes.
No, this is it. Like, This is what you're going to do. I remember, I've always wanted to be a graphic designer. And I remember telling my dad, like, that's what I want to do. And he would say, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like, why would you want to be a graphic designer? Like, there's no reason why you should do that. Right. And like, that's my biggest, I can still learn it, and like, again, I'm never too old I would never be too old to stop. And that's one thing that I'm like, okay, I need to look more into YouTube and do more of these things for my personal just gratification. But I think like, that's one. I don't like that I regret things, but I wish I would not have listened and just done it. Or I wish I would have had a dad that would have been a little bit more, of course, like go and explore. Because I think like eventually I would have found myself, I'm always going to be me. Right. So at least I would have explored with things. So, I think when I realized like I wasn't control, I could do anything was when they retired and they moved away. And then it was just myself and my siblings took over the business. We bought the business from them. They left. And then I was just left on my own to make my own decisions. And then I thought, oh, wow, I could really make anything happen. And It was making small steps, right? Even it's just as something as simple as, I really feel like our restaurant should be orange in the outside, and then doing it. And I know it's such a small thing, but now it's from that to, wow, we can launch an e-commerce business. Like we can just do it. I think it's just getting used to the fact that making a decision and following through that decision is probably the hardest skill to learn and lean on. Right. A lot of people just don't make decisions. A lot of people don't like to make decisions because they have to live with the consequences. And I think that if you just start making decisions, like do them little by little, it could be something as small as I want to change the color of my restaurant. I want to put a mural, and then owning that and being like, that was amazing. I just did that. What else can I do?
Yeah.
Transferring to like, let's launch a new product. Let's write a book. Like all these things. Let's write a second book. Like it's just deciding. And I think that and understanding that no one has control of your life but you. And I think that really is when I started realizing like, oh, I could really do anything I want.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And that really speaks to something that we talked about when we had our first interview about resilience and being able to feel the positive feedback, being able to bounce back, being able to have that grounding of, oh, I did something, I made a decision, and the universe responded, Mm-hmm. So how do you think that moving forward, How do you feel that resilience has impacted your decision making today?
Well, I think that it's because no matter in life, whether you're in business or not, things are always going to happen, right? There's always going to be adversity because that's just the way the world works. And that's just science, physics, universal law. It just, that is what it is, you know? Things are always going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's really, again, going back to, you can decide to stop and backtrack, or you can stop, learn, and move forward. And I think that's what adversity is, right? It's understanding, okay, this is a problem. I can get stuck here forever or for a very long period of time. I can stop and then just backtrack and never take that risk again because I don't want to be back in that place. Or you can stop, learn, go through the feelings, understand why that happened, and realize that it's not that big of a deal in the scope of things. If you look at, like, from the Earth's viewpoint, or what's it called, from a bird viewpoint of view, whatever.
Yeah, from a bird's point of view.
Right. You know, looking, like, if you look up, like, go above yourself, look at your whole life timeline and say, like, this is a moment in my life, and move forward, and let's leave it behind you and keep going. And the next time you're faced with that, it won't be that big of a deal. And then so many more opportunities will come because you're not scared. And then another issue will come, and then you'll just keep growing and growing. And, like, that's how I feel like that's the way it's helped me deal with adversity, understanding that that's the only way to push forward.
Yeah. Are you able to practice self-compassion when things don't go right?
I think I'm getting better at it, for sure. I think that there was definitely a time where it was very, like, what did I do wrong? Or it was me. But I think that those, all those feelings come from, years of trauma, years of things that I've dealt with, even as a child, that I've never moved forward with. And I think that now I'm able to understand that, okay, this happened, didn't work out. So what? And then move on. I think that self-compassion really is just, it's one of the hardest things to learn in life, but one of the most useful tools that you could have. And it's not easy. It really is not easy. It's just really being able to understand where that thing comes from, right? Like, when was the first time you ever felt disappointed in yourself? And, like, what did you do at that moment? And, like, it could even been when you were like 5. I don't know, like, who knows? Like, there's so much trauma that we carry in ourselves. But I think that I'm getting way better at it. And I think that's what's allowed me to just move forward. And I think, like, move at a different speed. Because I don't have, at this point, it's like, I don't have time to sit around and feel bad for myself.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. I think, again, that speaks to being able to be resilient. And the reason why I ask is because so many people, especially entrepreneurs, people that have businesses, I find that the common theme is the difficulty to practice self-compassion, to give ourselves that space, because I feel at a certain level, to be able to create something, you have to be able to drive yourself. So you're pushing yourself, and sometimes the line gets blurred between encouraging yourself and then pushing yourself to the limit, to exhaustion. And I feel that self-compassion can sometimes fall by the wayside because, yeah, we are our own worst critic. And so sometimes we can get lost in that energy, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
So what is the most important value that you, and I'm speaking specific to both your kids, but specifically for your daughter as a woman in this world, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Yeah. What is the most important value that you want her to have?
Confidence. 100%. and I'm still learning, and I'm like reading books on how to instill confidence in your children at this young age, because I think that if you're confident, no matter what people tell you, no matter what the world tells you, if you innately feel confident in yourself and you innately believe, that, you're beautiful, you're great, you are magical, that you have the ability to make anything happen, but also not confidence in the delusional where it's given confidence, because a confidence is something that you can just give somebody. It's something that you have to innately understand, right? Like they have to fail and then learn that they can do it themselves, and that's building confidence.
What is given
I think
confidence?
What is what?
What's given confidence? Like, can you give me an example?
Giving confidence is like, it's, for example, a great example. So I don't, when my boy and I compete, I don't try any less. I don't let him win on purpose to make him feel good about himself, because I think that's fake confidence, because he didn't really beat me and he's thinking he beat me. And it's like, but that's fake confidence, because he feels like he's the best when he's not. He feels he's so fast and he's not, so I don't let him beat me. And I'm like, but one day you will. And when you do, it's going to feel great, because then you're going to understand, like, wow, I'm getting better. And every day we go and we play something, he's getting better. And he's like, oh, I'm one step closer to beating you. And that's building confidence,
Right.
Like for me, that's what it is. It's like, I don't want to create fake confidence to the point where he's delusional and he feels like,
or when people build you up and they're just doing it because you're surrounded by yes people. They're not really giving you something constructive.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So, that's sort of what, and how, but that, and that confidence translates to other things, right? I think that once you kind of feel like, wait, I can do this, like I can actually, or him in the kitchen, like he makes his own breakfast every day. And like, I got to the point where I'm like, you need to learn how to do this, but not because to make my life easier or anything. And I didn't like make him, it's just, I'm going to teach you how to do it. But that's him building confidence because he's doing something for himself. Right. And sometimes he'll tell me, Mom, I asked my friend, can you believe like he doesn't make his own breakfast? And, and then it's not like to talk bad about the child, but I'm just like, oh, well, maybe next time he comes over, you can teach him. Right. He's like, yeah, I'm going to teach him. So it's really, and then he feels like, ooh, like I can do this. Right. So it's just allowing your children to learn, to fail, and to explore, and to do these things to build up their confidence. And for me, it's just about doing that. And I think like that's really what I want to make sure my children have. And again, I'm still learning. I'm still reading. I mean, every day I'm just like, how do I build confidence in my kids? But again, real confidence, not fake confidence.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's so good. I obviously can have a conversation with you forever, and I love talking about all of these things, but I want to be respectful of your time. So for the people that are listening to this, where can they find more information and learn more about you?
Yeah. I mean, you can follow me on Instagram. That's kind of where I live the most in the social sphere. Just at Bricia Lopez, BRICIA and just BriciaLopez.com. You can go there and you can just click this. All our projects are listed there. Restaurants or michelada mix or mole. Or
that's
mole
the
paste that you can buy online.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
I love micheladas.com. I love mole.com. Those are all, our projects and our products that you can get to wherever you are in the States. And if you're local and if you're Los Angeles, come by the restaurant. I'm there a lot. Galagetza, and just, say hi.
Yes. Well, and all of the...
Say hi. Tell me you heard me in this podcast, and I'll treat you to a round of drinks.
What? There's going to be... I don't know. You should have said we might have to edit this out. You might get a lot of people.
If you see me there and you tell me you heard me here, I'll buy you a drink.
All right. Well, there it is, everybody. So you heard it here. All of the links that Bricia mentioned will be in the info button of this podcast. Or if you're watching this, it's in the description below. We'll link all of that up here. And the final question to you before I ask you, I hold on, let me backtrack. First of all, I want to say thank you for doing this again and for being a part of this community and for being somebody inspirational for women everywhere. Thank you. And I look forward to having more conversations like this with
100%. Yeah, let's do this.
So final question is, how do you feel radically loved?
I feel radically loved when people listen without asking something in return. You know, when people just generally just want to like listen and understand without expecting something in return. And I'm in the hospitality industry, and I think a lot of us feel this way. Because more often than not, people who are in the hospitality industry, it's just all about serving people 24/7, people asking for things all the time. I'm a mom at the same time, and a wife and a business owner and a restaurant owner. So my life all the time is like giving, right? Anything from I need a reservation to I need my diaper changed to I need breakfast to I need something. It's like I need. So for me, I feel radically loved when people just like sit there, listen to me, and just, give me their time and compassion and energy without taking.
Yeah. So good. That's probably one of my favorite answers.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Bricia, thank you. You are amazing. And I'm so grateful to have had this conversation with you. Thank you so much. For everybody listening, if you enjoyed this podcast, please remember to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts. And we will be back next week.
Bye.
Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I am so excited to continue to do this. Please share this with your friends. Email us, message us on Instagram at Rosie Acosta or on Twitter at Rosie Acosta. Subscribe on iTunes, write a review. We love doing this, so please help us continue to keep this podcast going. Thanks for listening.